everyone. I'm Simone Stanley here with Dan McDonald, and we're back with another Ryze Recap after a pretty long break, I would say, Dan. We're here to catch you guys up on everything that's been happening so far in the Georgia High School playoffs. Dan, of course, we got to start with the most exciting game so far. It's been a lot of games that's happened since we last talked.
Yeah, this one's a pretty easy one. I went up to Sequoia on Tuesday night, and they won 135 to 112 in regulation. No overtime. Yes, that really was the score. It was like the question I've always got people who are like, you were there? What was it? Like, was there just no defense? Yeah, defense wasn't great, but like I really truly believe like there was some elite shot making. I mean, Dylan Woolley hit some really tough shots. Kyle Keener hit some tough shots. Fisher Mitchell was on fire for Sequoia. So they had a lot of guys just rolling too and moving the ball well. So in Paulding County had a bunch of kids that were just hitting shots too, and they moved the ball well and they play fast. So everything was just set up for it to be a high scoring game in general, but just with the way it worked out, I've never seen anything like it. It was one of the craziest games I've ever been to in the however many years I've been watching high school basketball.
125 points in regulation.
35 points.
35, excuse me. 135 points in regulation. I've never seen
Sequoia had 98 points in the third quarter. And then
that's even rare in the NBA.
Yes. And they're talking about 16 minutes less of regulation time. Crazy.
So that definitely has to be the most exciting game so far. I mean, we love offense in high school basketball. But then, standout player, who has really caught your eyes so far in the playoffs?
Yes, I'm going to go with Jay Boyd over at Hiram High School. They had a big win over the weekend against Warner Robins at home and advanced to Elite Eight this week. And so he ended up recording 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in a really tight game. They only won by 6. So he's kind of one of those guys that's had a really good year. I remember seeing him back in our fall league in the fall. Just a really good player, really good guard that can score, kind of do a little bit of everything. He's Coach Keon Boyd's son, so he's had a really, really good high school season and kind of carried over into the state playoffs. So he's somebody I think a lot of college coaches need to start kind of putting on the radar this spring when they start going out to kind of check on some guys.
Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to keep our eye out for him, especially like you said, it was a close game, so his performance was definitely needed from the team.
No doubt.
So one more recap. Biggest surprises. I feel like it's been a couple of upsets. What do you think has been the biggest surprise so far in this playoff series? Yeah,
so there's been a few like of those perceived favorites in some of those brackets that have gone down this weekend. And I mean, you could pick Lafayette lost this weekend, Sandy Creek lost this weekend, but I think it's really surprising that Pace Academy lost at home to Butler out of Augusta. Pace Academy's they've won a few state championships in a row. Coach Sharman White's probably think he's got 10 state titles at this point. They got a really talented team, but it's not easy to win a state tournament every year. You can't take it for granted that you're just going to get there just because you're a really good team. Like there's other really good teams that are hungry too. So when I saw that score coming out, that was the one that kind of caught me off guard.
Definitely. Especially when, it's the underdog. They're always hungry, ready to attack, ready to not.
And Butler out of Augusta, that's a good program. They're always one of those teams that, makes a run in the tournament. And a lot of times it's just a matter of how the matchups work out in that bracket because it's just, you never know when you're going to catch a team that gets a little hot and just starts feeling a little bit. And if it's just not your night, it's tough.
Definitely. And if you don't have 135 points in you, then.
Yeah, you can't always count on that either.
Right. So looking ahead, Dan, what matchups are you looking out for this week?
Good. Man, there's every single matchup in 7A bracket looks like it's tempting to try to figure out a way to be in 2 or 3 places at one time. But I'm going to go with the Milton Pebblebrook game on Wednesday night over at Pebblebrook. I think that's going to be a heavyweight fight. You got both sides, really good guard play, really tough kids that have been through all the wars. Inside, you're going to have LT Overton, who's a highly ranked football player, going against Jan Simon for Pebblebrook, who's had a great year. So you got 2 great coaches with George Washington and Alan Whitehart. Pebblebrook's always we've talked about this before, it's one of the best atmospheres in the state. I'm sure that gym's going to be packed out with a DJ playing. It's going to be awesome, and I will be there for it. So of all the great games that are going to take place this week, that's the one that I cannot wait for. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
So we can count on you for some more highlights if it's a buzzer beater or something.
Hopefully. So I get that phone ready.
Right. Well, like you said, that's going to be a great matchup. That's on Wednesday. So we're going to be looking out for that and anticipating that. Two great teams, but only one can come out of that game. But Dan, thank you so much for hopping on today, giving us some insight into what happened and what you're looking for this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Simone.